Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Letters, episode number 2. And if you don't know what this is about, this is a little bonus segment feature that I just started. This is episode number 2, so it's brand new. And it's a little bit different than the podcast. It's just me, and I'm reading letters and statements that I have found off the internet of people who survived Sorensons Branch School. Those of you who don't know what Sorenson's Branch School is, I would advise you to watch the podcast or do some Googling. Google. But honestly, you won't find much information on Google, as Sorenson's Branch School tends to throw lawsuits, sue people, take things down that are written negative about this place. And that's why I'm here to shed the light and share what I can, because nobody else really is. And I have been there, and I am trying to heal myself from the past trauma that it's left me, a lifelong trauma that I'm trying to heal from. All right, so let's go into this. Let's do number 2. I'm going to try and read this one a little bit more clear for you guys. I was reading it off my phone last time, and I suck at reading. So here, let's see if this will be better. All right, everything in this statement is true. I give Heal, which is the website that I found this on. All right, I was first hospitalized for 3 months when I first arrived. I forgot to mention this person's not anonymous, so I don't have a name. This is I can tell this is going to be a very rough letter because it's all in capitals. I haven't read it yet, so you and I will be the first to hear it at the same time. So let's get into it. I was first hospitalized for 3 months when I first arrived, as I did not get along with the guards. So they had 12 of the larger kids. I was 16 and skinny when I arrived, but I refused to be trampled. Beat me at one time, cracking my ribs and bruising every inch of my body. I tried to let my family understand what was happening, but the mail, of course, was censored, and I was beaten again, but managed to fight back as I had not left the weight room. I know kids were raped, but I never had that privilege, thank God. I escaped 3 times, but was caught twice by their bounty hunters, bribing fickle half-friends, and turned myself in the 3rd time when I realized I did not want a life on the run. Luckily, they wanted nothing to do with the spotlight and had me rapidly evicted from Utah for life. Oh, darn. I was also sent to the Idaho Survival Program that went hand in hand with Sorensons. I almost died there, but 2 girls from Seattle saved enough food to see me through until the next weekly feeding. I don't remember their names. I have tried to forget this period in my life, but I do owe them my life, as I do know 2 kids were abused to death the month before our excursion. They invented tortures for me, especially 2 weeks on the dirt mound in my boxer shorts, with 2 bowls of rice daily and no human contact. I was made to sleep in a chair at the end of the hallway at night, then back to the mound, where fellow students were encouraged to throw clods and rocks at me. Then in winter, I was marched dawn till dusk, back and forth in the snow, where I developed frost, nip, and my right foot is still devoid of feeling. Excuse me. Once again, a bowl of rice for breakfast and one for dinner. They finally relented when I was in a high fever and talking to myself. as I later was told. Somebody smuggled drugs in, and again I was tortured in similar fashion until I admitted 3 weeks just to make it stop. The head of the legal affairs even risked his job to explain coercion, I don't know what the fuck that says, as he knew I was not guilty, but a scapegoat for their inability to find the true culprits. He was the only one who ever admitted at attempted any help, but I feel he was only fearing the consequences if discovered. The way they found out about the drugs was a beauty in itself. A boy was so high and admitted his love for the certain counselor. I was beaten to within an inch of his life, while the guards didn't notice, of course. I am proud of who I am and everything that made me this way. Except this period, I grew up in Hawaii, was pretty innocent, but for a good 3 years after I was expelled from Utah, I was increasingly violent and became addicted to heroin, a drug I had never tried before, Utard. I wish I knew everything. I wish I knew of the 4 year period, but it's almost 18 years now, so I get to suffer my memories with no outlet. I often thought of going back and finding certain of the worst bastards, as I am sure they are snug in their little village, related to the cops and judges in Richfield, as always. I was so desperate to escape the first time, I walked the 18 to 23 miles to Richfield in a snowstorm wearing a flannel shirt and Converse, maybe meant Converse, and I stole a car, the first time I became a true criminal. That night, I would rather have died in the cold than get caught. I jumped into snowbanks without a thought of the horrible cold, every set of lights that came down the road searching for me. I tried suicide 6 times, but was unsuccessful due to being watched and force fed. I am a famous artist now with no criminal record. Out of luck for the first 3 years of freedom, and out of my nature for the next 15. The heroin addiction, also 13 years past. I am not an addictive character. I was self medicating and trying to forget being in the pit of hell and the demons I saw there. I hear stories of people's sob tales, but I know 88 to 89 was a far worse than any time since then. That was when they were impeccable and could run rampant with their sick and twisted child abuse and sex fantasies. Shortly after my departure is when the first accusations and dismissals surfaced. I heard from my friend Tracy Zahorn, I hope I'm saying that right, who was several years younger, allowed to live off campus in a guard's house, and later become a famous model, if you catch my drift. I don't catch his drift, but this is a pretty crazy story. I hope to God what I fear happened to her did not. She was so sweet when I met her and so jaded when she came back to the real world. Or maybe what he's trying to say is that she got sexually assaulted. Anyways, there is so much more, but these few memories make me want to scream at life's injustices. But I can do nothing but hurt myself. Yeah, so that's the letter. It sounds fucked up and like almost like it's not true. But from what people I've been talking to in stories and episodes of the podcast of people I've been meeting, there's not a second I don't think that any of that stuff's true. And you can tell by the way it's written, the person I think was really struggling remembering things because of the pain it caused them. You can tell by it was all capitals and words were kind of not spelt right, that he was kind of reliving these experiences and getting angry. And and that doesn't take away from how fucked up that is. Anyways, so that's another letter. Pretty fucked up. Here's another quick letter that I'll read to you guys. So, Survivor Story number 2 by Mike Horgan. Everything in my statement below is true. I give Heal permission to use my statement. I was being reformed at Sorensons Branch School in 1988 to 1989. I read this other person's alumni letter and felt obligated to write my fair warnings as well. I wanted to cry while reading the other's alum's words. Sorry, I'm a shitty reader. The sad thing is, the types of things the person described in their report happened a lot to so many kids. I realize I have repressed a lot of shit inside over the years and have not wanted to think about those big abusive Mormons. Judgmental, prejudiced, fuck, I suck at reading. Cruel, but at the same time, they truly believe in their cult and think they are doing the right things to help. At my low, I was helped to steal a car and try and break out. 2 attempts. I also marched through the wilderness program in Idaho with a bunch of fucking heroin addicts from around the country. Some big black guy from Compton broke my nose. I had religion stuffed down my throat, forced to do a lot of shit. But what was bad was the nighttime. We hurt people. For the first 6 months, I got beat down a bit. I was 14. Some kids were 19, even one 20 years old who was court ordered. So with the time you stop getting beat, you start beating others. Fuck it, right? It was sink or swim. I remember being strip searched repeatedly. They, the staff, were always looking for contraband. We did have some good weed on occasion. They would call it, there's some good weed on occasion. They would call it restraining. If you sat quietly and refused to follow an order, the staff would slam you on the ground and whoop your ass. This happened often. I couldn't figure out what good it did, or I couldn't figure out what good it did. I am aware of sexual abuse. There was a lot of bad shit going on. But like I said, the Mormon cult truly believes they are saving us poor little bastards. To any of my friends who happen to run into this letter, sorry for any bad memories. I turned out well. Hope you made it out okay the same. And there were definitely some good counselors. And there were also some devious fuckers. I love my kids way too much to send them to a place like that. P.S. Learned out how to be really fucking sneaky and manipulating. Love you all. Mike Horgan, 1988 to 1989. Damn. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. And pretty much goes along with what I've heard about this place already. And from my experiences of being there. Really, really fucked up shit. I don't understand how this place even exists or is still running and parents are still sending their kids to this place. It kind of boggles my mind how they've been getting away with the abuse and the sexual misconduct for so many years. Well, that's episode number 2. There was 2 letters for you. I hope you Anybody got any information on that? I'm happy. I know I'm a shitty reader, but the more I do this, the better I'm going to get. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you Thursday for a new episode of the podcast. Looking forward to doing more of these letter bonus features. And like I said in the last one, if anybody ever has any letters they want to send anonymous or me to read out that's anonymous, I'd be more than glad and happy to do that. Or anything, if you want to contact me, write a comment below. I'll send you my email address. And yeah, if you guys can subscribe to my channel, the SRS files, that'll be great. And that being said, I'm out. See you on the podcast on Thursday and on the next letters. All right. Thanks, guys.